to EPIC46 with Intel. I am beyond excited to be on the casting desk for one of my first casts in a long time, and with a fresh face joining me.
Yep,
How
thank
are
you.
you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. My first Epic. I've enjoyed every second of it so far, even through the tech issues. But yeah, it's been absolutely excellent, and we have an absolute game in our hands today.
We do. 8sins versus TLR, who I have no doubt will compete again versus each other going later into the tournament. But we've got them for the BO1s now, and this is going to be a really good tonal set, I think.
I completely agree. I think this could even be, would I go as far to say, our finalist game? There's a lot of good teams, but it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I know TLR currently top of UKIC at the moment, absolutely topping the charts.
I'm a big Godku fan, I'll say it.
Are
Godku,
you?
one of the first players that ever spoke to me in the UK scene. Absolute legend, really. And then 360, I mean, what can you not say about the man?
I mean, he's an absolute weapon. You see 360 coming, you know you're in for a world of hurt.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the whole team's looking pretty good. Obvious has been a player that's been around for a while. Played with Godku a lot in the past as well. But I think we might have a pistol round ready for you guys. So let's kick it off. We do have TLR starting on that CT side. We can hear the ticks go down. We're going to get into the game. Heavy A-lean, it would seem, early round, but smoke going over the top is actually going to stop anyone peeking over towards theirs. That's going to really put Godku in an interesting position here, but it's obvious with the first pick onto Joss there. Godku, though, goes completely unchecked, and there it is, the bomb. He spotted 3 of them. He knows somebody else is cross, spraying away with the USP. Ducking away there, what really can you find? Yeah, they've got connected to control, but the bomb is dropped and it's so uncomfortable to retrieve here. There's another tap from Riser, Tadpole goes down, and now Godspell. There's nothing left for you in this round.
Yeah, that has been an absolute dismantling by Godku, just letting them all pass, and I've got to say, that A-stack has done absolute wonders for TLR. Maybe going even as far as to say they've prepared this game. They've seen some pistols before, maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We're getting into that stage very much with these players. They play versus each other within the UK circuits and within the UK scene frequently, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are at least, slight notes. Godspell, though, doesn't want to go down quietly. 360 is hiding, but there's an idea that he's hiding there. They do try and clear him, but the Julies will reign supreme.
Yeah, 360, finishing that off, the cherry on top of the icing, and that is TLR's first of many, I'm sure.
I have no doubt. They are definitely looking particularly primed coming into this tournament. And now they are going to buy it pretty heavily here, but no bomb plant means no buy realistically. Godspell's got a deagle, but we're not waiting on miracles from it. It's going to have a little jump on over towards apartments, but I don't think it's going to be given the contact necessarily. Godspell finds a little bit of a pick, but won't quite land the shot. Nate goes deep, so both will remain unscathed, but the issue is shoulder spotted. They've got to try break through apartments here, or back away, find another plan. They've got a little bit of presence over towards ramp. They're sending somebody mid. We'll see what they try and piece together, but they're not being given any opening here.
Yeah, a very quiet round out of 8sins. Really just trying to waste a bit of utility, show a bit of skin, and then just retreat back. I imagine they're probably using this time to sort of talk it over, but eventually the cards are going to fall.
This A site could be particularly vulnerable if they find the pick here onto Obvious and Riser. I mean, 360's got one. It's frantic, it's messy, but the kills do come through. Rain's blue in the kill feed, and TLR will convert flawlessly into the second. Going into the third, we'll have no weapons needed to be rebought, and that means the AWP can come straight out.
Yep, Reza, definitely a weapon on this AWP.
Yep.
And a full buy out of 8. Well, without the AWP, but still very lethal. 4 AKs in the Galil, I apologise. Against what seems a bit of weaker weapons. MP9s.
Yeah, that's the one issue with that conversion round, is that if you don't lose any weapons, you have no reason to justify buying new ones. So this is a bonus, you know, it's nice if you get it, but you're not really banking on it off the get-go. Ooh, obvious. There's the Eagle out, spraying away. Just there, and the Galil will find the pick. Now crawling on forward, they go. They've cleared out a lot of space, and actually, that smoke going out is going to cut off Godku. Mid is under their thumb. Second smoke as well for Connector. It's a little bit damning, but St. Sins take all the control in the world, but they've got to figure out where they want to go next. Over towards B, they shimmy. Geckos is there. Godku's just kind of let them all slip by. He's got to be careful because not all of them are past him. Geckos goes down. He needs to activate, but he needs to activate before Prime gets there. But he spins around. He gets both. 360's found his. And suddenly, 2 on site, but it's messy. HP bars low. We got a caveat this, but Riser still shooting strong. Jostair gets the bomb down, but now in a very difficult situation. Needs to try isolate these fights. But as Godku goes down, that's going to be the signal for Riser, but still dancing with each other. Low HP. Molotovs go out to force him round one side and forced into an unwinnable fight. Jostair comes out the victor. First round on the board, coming out early for 8 Sins.
Got to think, what more could Godku do there? Gets 2. A slightly shaky spray to begin with, but manages to lock those up. But yeah, as you say, Jaws there, what can't he do? He's just absolutely dismantled the remaining 2 there. A beautiful 2v1.
Indeed. Smoke to go out early for Window, give them an opportunity to take mid with a little bit more ease. It's not a Window smoke, I am mistaken. Okay. Mid control again. Godku's backed off when it's about time. Tadpole finds the opener, but they're not going to get greedy. They're not going to overextend. Prime activates to give them a little bit of a buffer to push on forward with. But the unfortunate problem is that Orb is still going strong. 2 versus 3.
Yeah, Gecko's taking a bit of space here, and Apps calling to his 2 A players. That ends up, important kill out of Jawstep, brings it down to a 2v2, and Reza is on his own.
Okay. Still haven't actually made it onto a side, but they've got all the time in the world. A little bit of a shimmy up here, but Gecko's position.
Timing just missed.
Oh, there it is. Back to the spin around. You see a world where that goes wrong. But alas, that's not the world we are living in. Just there. So much left to do here. Jumps across. But there it is. Stabbed in the back by the bullet of Riser. And then 3-1 is where we find ourselves. 8 Sins, they got around. They can't find more. And that is going to spell trouble in the financial department.
Yeah, it's really not looking good. But a staple of EPIC are the rounds that seem completely unwinnable. Maybe just a couple of deagles is all it takes out of Fraser and Prime.
I mean, Fraser known in the UK scene for being one of those iconic players. Now, there goes in. Not deep enough to damage just there, but pop the smoke. No one's crossed just yet, but all misleading information only 10 seconds later, but that's what 360's for. Flash over the top could be monumental, but can't really find any off of it. The HE is going to be fine, but it's not going to do anything to deter them, and in fact, actually, it's 360 that's had to back off.
Yeah, maybe shown his place of it, try to bite off a bit more that he can chew, and he knows that these aren't the rounds you can lose. He's just thanking his lucky stars that he's not just being headshot across the map by Fraser there and escaped with his life. And that's exactly what you need. They have to come to you, just play it slow, And it looks like they're coming to Geckos.
Okay, Prime with 1. Fortunately, they got to drop down here. Geckos with 1 and has backup from afar as well. Prime's got a lovely flank, but the issue is going to be it activates way too late. He's too far removed to do anything but mourn his fallen teammates here. And now looking down the barrel of a 4th for TLR. Prime, I think, probably just wanting to save, but even then, I mean, he's tempting fake. He's poking the belly of the beast here.
I think he's just trying to take anything he can get. He knows he's got to buy next round. Taking down these 2 very low players to get to 360, but Tree's not going to let any of that happen. Retaining 3 guns, economy starting to be built on the CT side, but as we say, 8 sins on sort of a weaker buy last round. It allows them to bring in these AKs, and you got to think this is the round where they've got to start getting moving.
Yeah, exactly. This, I mean, it's a CT-sided map. In what could be described as a T-sided game at the moment. But you realistically don't want to let TLR get too much of a lead in momentum. Because this is a team that when they're feeling it, they're unstoppable. Lining up, waiting for something. In fact, actually not going to wait. They want to go hunting for that opening pick, and they're taking so much space. Now, there's nothing realistically over towards A. All attention is on the middle and top thirds of this map, but that's where it needs to be right now. Again, because this is a lovely position. Smoke for window gives them a little bit of assurance as they crawl over towards. I want to say they're going B, but still got eyes heavily on that A site, just there waiting. They've not shown any signs of going that aggressive yet, but doing due diligence, and we'll never complain about that.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Gecko's in such a powerful position. You've got to think it would be good to 2 here. Tadpole creeping into Geckos' trap. Good flashbang though. He's let 1 pass, he's let 2 pass. 3. Lines them up, ready, gets the first, gets the second, controls the space for the 3rd. It's just Fraser left. He's punished him there a bit, maybe overstayed his welcome, but still 3 there is absolutely criminal out of Geckos. It's less Fraser in absolutely unwinnable position. And yeah, Obvious is gonna finish that one off there, and you've got to think, what a call from TLR, pushing the AWP up with the rifle, getting them in that advanced position. And Geckos, he's definitely a player that can capitalize off of it.
Oh yeah, and it's a difficult one there because the trigger discipline pays off. You know, it's kind of a gamble when you do it. But it pays off for 3. There's no real exit plan, though. He knows that the likelihood of him going down, if there's any more players, is basically 100%, right? But he knows that he can do enough for his team to have that buffer and safety net off the back of the player advantage that he's I don't want to say single-handedly won, because as you pointed out, it was a team effort to get him in that position and keep him there. I'm a little bit curious, because they flash the angle, but they don't really clear it.
Yeah, it seemed very just flashing off an AWP that could have been posted on that sort of position, not really expecting a pushed rifle there.
No, which is why it works so well, but I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see 8-Sins a lot more diligent in checking angles now. At least for the next couple of rounds whilst they're on edge. Deep Molotov knows they're probably not the same call to hide on the hard right corner here. Ooh, smoke coming on through just there. Molotov on out, but it's just not going to be able to peek off the back of it. But I think the goal there is just hold the attention. Hold all of the information that you can. 360's found the first. There's a spray down for the second. Gecko's eyes got kill stolen. 360 snipes that one away. Conversation to be had there. His stats are looking good because he's finding and farming. 6 of one, half dozen the other. Combine the words into one, why not? Prime, again, left in an unfortunate situation. Not going to be able to find anything. And TLR, we haven't really talked about the money for them because it's not worth talking about right now, is that they've not been doing much economic damage, 8 Sins, and it only becomes important if they then actually start winning rounds off the back of it, which, alas, not happening just yet. But Frazier has an orb in hand, and I am expecting greatness here, and greatness is what they're gonna need to turn this around.
It
because
looks like they might be going for a boost here. Yep, Joss there setting him up. Fraser just misses Godku. Godku doesn't even know how close that was.
Lucky. Someone's watching out for him there. Lady Luck on his side, but
look how heavy this A presence is. 4 players on the A site, completely leaving mid. It seems like they've read this completely.
It has been an interesting call, and they've got Godku kind of passive. It's a non-committal mid-hold, right? It's like, I'm not going to see anything before it happens. Obvious gonna find the first Godspell, lovely peek on, and I like the idea for the second, but can't quite finish executing the plan. 4 versus 3. Tadpole looking to go forward, is ahead of the smoke, but Godku aware, isn't even needed there because Riser steps on up. Godku activates for the last 2, and it's absolutely immaculate.
TLR are getting loud now. We can hear them across the arena. I think that's a Godku scream. Actually, I'm hearing.
I can't hear it, but I trust that it's a Godku scream.
It's there. Yeah, he's got a very specific screech.
It's got a tone, you know?
Yeah. And he knows that this game is really running away with TLR. 8 Sins, their second timeout, only 1 left.
I mean, even if they win the 4 remaining rounds, and that's a monumental if there, it's still not a half that I think 8 Sins will be happy with. Like 7-5's not bad, but they did let, you know, almost 7 in a row. That 1 round blip, it feels insignificant right now. More needs to happen, and the issue is we're getting towards the end of the half, so unless they can at least make some of these rounds difficult, they're not even buying themselves an easy round to try and breathe if they do win.
Yeah, very heavy A here out of 8 Sins again. They got to think, there's no way they would stack A 2 rounds in a row. I think that's how developed the strats are getting now. But look at this, 3-man setup. Obvious in a very strong position to stop this.
Patience is a virtue, and we will see in what dividends it pays off. Going a little bit aggressive here. This could be worrisome. Close range with the Tech 9 in the hands of none other than Joss there. Joss there actually backing away, has to be careful. Peeks on out and Obvious holding the line there. Prime tries to find something, use the distraction, hoping that too much presence was put in Palace, but alas, they will fall 1 by 1. Godspell alive, but at what cost? More than half of his health bar. Tadpole's got 1, but is knocking on a door of exactly somebody who has your number, your location, has picked up that AK and is making it sing, but only a little bit. 2 kills needed. It's not the hardest situation in the world, but pincered out in the open. A sitting duck for the pluck-in, and TLR with an 8th, and they are probably feeling on top of the world right now.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit nervous for TLR after Godspell got those 2, but keeping it classy, Obvious in the middle of the site, did what he needs to do, and creates it. Not the cleanest of rounds, but still, as we talked about earlier, or didn't talk about, I should say, the economy on TLR is just so unbreakable at the moment. 360 on his own on 18 grand.
I think it's just a case of if it works, you know? Godku, 360, it's such a good opener. The aggression from TLR has been so metered and so perfectly distributed. Joss Dares got onto site. The issue is caught with utility in hand, and this is going to be another TLR round. And you know what? I'm lifting off one side of my headset because I want to hear the Godku scream. Still waiting for this though.
Well,
Frazier, they don't know where he is.
Yeah, you can't count him out.
True.
But, I mean,
A very smart player, as I have been told by many, but unfortunately, some situation. It's been my topic of conversation with a lot of casters recently. You know, speaking with Darth, Mike, and some of the others that I've been with, is that at what point is a clutch situation out of your own hands? Is that every situation is technically winnable, but it's not necessarily on your own merit. Sometimes it's the fate of your opponents making mistakes, and this is a TLR that is not making meaningful mistakes.
Yeah, they're keeping it very tidy, and 8 Sins is exactly in the worst position they could be in. They have AKs, but Reza, again, nice opening. 13 for 4, 360, 13 for 2. I mean, it's just a complete dismantling at the moment.
I don't know if 8 Sins have won an opening duel this game.
Ooh, that would be a good start.
I'll be honest, I jumped onto this game last minute, so I was a little unprepared. My brain hasn't switched fully onto casting mode just yet, so I haven't been counting, but I haven't noticed any of the opening duels going their way, which is unfortunate. They're walking into every situation 4v5. They've done a good job at baiting a fair amount of this utility out, but 8 Sins, they don't even have an execute's worth of utility left in them. 2 flashes and a molly and a prayer, perhaps.
Yep. Although, it seems like TLR's made the wrong read here. They're leaving Obvious on his own to jump spot CT, so they should be able to take a lot of map control. But
Close
with
rotate.
no smokes, it's going to be a difficult plant.
It is, and they actually might get a plant here. It's gonna have to be a retake, but Prime already in the prime position to hold for this. But the issue is they can't afford to lose too many players fighting for the CT control. Yes, the bomb goes down, but you're at a player disadvantage again.
1 for 360 now against Prime. He's got to win this out, and Prime does take it. We were talking about how the opening duels weren't going that way, but did it really matter in the end? It seems like TLR have just let that one slip. I don't think 8 Sins, I think, would I say it was TLR losing or 8 Sins winning? I think it's difficult to decide there. TLR definitely making a lot of mistakes though, not really grouping, one at a time, especially into Prime, and I think that's really sort of sold them there.
It is, and you got to give credit to Prime stepping up and seizing the opportunity, right? It's not sustainable to try and rely on an individual to get those rounds on the board, but you can use this as a catalyst, as the springboard for more, and it needs to be one more. Only 1.5, but maybe you can shift the mentality going into the second, but unfortunately, even with a player having escaped the grasp of Geckos, 2 still fall, still an advantage. Geckos with the sidearm's going to get one more. There is a little bit of yellow in the kill feed that cannot go unmentioned, because now 2 versus 2, they're not going to clear Tadpole. So much damage and converts it into the pick. 360 needs the clutch here. There's one. Knows where the last is. It is perfect.
My goodness.
And he strikes again.
This is what we were talking about. 360, he thrives, he lives for these situations.
Yes.
And he ends the half 16 in 3. Oh my goodness. And what more can you say about that TLR? That has been an absolute dismantling.
I mean, I don't like being mean. I don't like playing bad cop. But professionally speaking here, this is not looking good.
That's
this
the way of putting it.
To put it lightly, in a way that I hope doesn't get me, glares at the bar. This is not looking amazing, but a pistol round here, and I've got enough copium in my system to trust the likes of, Frazier, Jostair, and Prime Core there. Ooh, they found the opener. Flying on out the window, they will get punished, and we said we wanted a pistol. We said we needed a pistol, and a pistol we have almost been delivered. The lid on the silver platter is closing. It hasn't yet been served. A dink onto Jostair, but it's not the finalizing blow. Frazier's gonna find it, and now it's just Godku left. Not for long. He does take one down with him into the grave, but alas, not much to speak of. And direly necessary round there for for 8 sins, but for TLR to lose.
At what point do you start believing?
Now.
You think?
You know,
This is
screw
it.
it now.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well.
No bomb plant means this goes 4-10.
Well, let's.
No.
Nah,
I
okay.
trust
Yeah,
8 sins not to throw this.
Okay.
Right?
That will be the clip title.
Oh, God. Hello to everyone watching this in the VOD when inevitably this goes sideways. No, I trust them on this one. This goes 10-4. Prime's got the first 3. Well, no, 2. And then Godspell steals the third away. And then Frazier activates, which is 10-4. They've got decent enough weaponry in the bonus here. Like, the MP9's not pretty, the FAMAS isn't great, but you've got the utility, it sets you up, you can invest in the kits and all that. And you know that the buy is not going to be perfect from TLR either. So you know that it's kind of swings and roundabouts. So this goes, if they win this, 10-5, and then maybe 10-6, and then that's looking better, right? So I'll have a little swig on the copium. Burst out into mid. No one's going to be able to really have a line of sight immediately. So they're just going to sit on their hands, play the extremities.
But look how aggressive 8 sins are being.
Yep.
That's the bomb. It looks like Geckos was on his own with the bomb there. Does pull back. If that had gone down there, that would have been absolutely awful for poor TLR, but it would have been the comeback you were talking about. Entering into the site, it looks like TLR's absolutely dismantling this A site. It's just Fraser on his own with a FAMAS, and that's not going to be good enough. Prime, ready for it. Gets the first, but doesn't get 360. And I mean, who can? It's just Jaws there on his own. Low HP though.
I mean, the low HP would look good if there wasn't a re-smoke and if they were still within lethal MP9 range. Archery is upgraded to the A1S, which makes this a little bit more hotly contested.
Yeah.
There were kids available on site, but alas, he will not find the important kill. And now this kind of makes my whole believing that it's not over till it's over a little bit harder. But 4-11, they will have a buy in this round, but if they lose this, this is facing the brink of that BO1 ending with nothing left in the tank.
Jorster seems to be buying down for an AWP potential. I think he was thinking about it. Yep, that is it.
Jorster's on the ground.
Drop the AWP to Fraser, and well, we've talked about this man on the AWP.
A Hail Mary.
Well, they need something, just a kick off. Oh, and that's not going to be it. A whiffed window break.
We didn't see anything. We saw nothing, and ironically, neither did Frazier.
Yes.
So I'm so sorry. This is the B stream, so I was told I was allowed to have a little fun.
Yeah,
but Prime gets one. Obvious with the second, burning alive, but Obvious is going to find a little bit more back and forth, but it is 8 sins currently on top here. Jots there with 2, doing the whole world, and there it is. Godspell to finish it off. They cling on a little longer.
Yep. And this is what you've been talking about. It's these rounds at a time type engagements, and they just slowly compound, and maybe TLR still to feel a bit of pressure. It goes 11-6, 11-7.
I mean, 11-5 sounds a lot better than 10-2.
Well, it sounds a ton better than 13-2, if
it
you're
does.
asking me. So
it does. It sounds way better than 13-2, actually. Not a single syllable of that was a lie.
And the buy for TLR, it's not looking great. This could be 11-6.
I am going to be sincerely apologetic here. I'm very out of the UK loop. Does TLR have a coach? Do we know?
Not that I'm aware of.
TLR coach. I'm going to have to go have an ask. I'll ask Godku. I inevitably will see Godku at the bar later on. So
They did their press over here. I'm sure they would have brought the coach over. So
true, yeah, actually.
Yeah. So
Get
looking like they
around
might need one for this round.
Yeah, I mean, timeout's being called. The buy's not amazing, so you know what? Back onto my copium spree. 11-6 here.
Yep.
They can dismantle the buy 11-7. Then suddenly, 4-round gap, that's not bad. I'm desperately trying to be a believer here. Frazier's got the AWP, so if he can keep hold of that, even if the round goes pear-shaped, they've got a contingency. Smokes go out, going to give them the side. They are going to part them. Godku, oh, risky business there, but does get across the CT. Gives them that space beyond the site. Frazier's got the first, though. That bomb still does need to get planted, and it's going to get planted safely. And the retake, though, that's where it's going to be brutality.
Yeah, and I mean, look how isolated Gekios is. Completely on his own with 4 CTs staring him down. They know he's here. They know he's planted here. I'm sure they'll be ready for him. Under Palace, taken down, and 8sins making a very dominant retake there.
Very important round. I mean, we're at 11-5. Let's not kid ourselves. Every round here is an
every
important
round is
here for
important.
8sins. Especially against the T-side economy, this is a lot more of an uphill work into this. But I think if it had been a quick game, we would have all been a little underwhelmed. It's a best of 1, and they can be very driven by how that first quarter goes. It sets the tone, it sets the pace, and TLR look very in control. But I mean, we kind of figured that it might not be completely one-sided at the start, and I'm back to believing again, just on the Tech 9s.
Well, it seems like they actually went for a force last round to get 360 onto an AK.
True.
And this has come to bite them quite badly. 2 Deagles, a P250, and 2 Tech 9s going into this against a very heavily armoured CT side. It looks like they may be able to disrespect this smoke. They've come straight through. Tadpole's on his own. He gets the first, he gets the second, makes himself safe, but he's been climbed upon. And Fraser looking for this last kill on Reaser, and he does take it. And that is a 7th round for 8sins. I know Mirage is a CT-sided map, or so I'm told. But is it this CT-sided? Were we going to see the comeback?
There's debate on it at the moment. That theoretically, and for the majority of teams statistically, it is CT-sided, but in CS2, the T side does have a lot of innate advantages, mostly just in the economic department, but it is still technically CT-sided. We're seeing that come on through now.
Very aggressive out of mid for 8sins. They know that if they want to win this game, they're going to have to start setting the pace and not letting TLR control these rounds.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what TLR did on their CT side, was the aggressive plays just shut them down so quickly. We didn't really see the bomb seeing a bomb site. Like, the two were repelled more than they actually coincided, but Goku is being watched here. We talked about this aggressive mid control means that every and all angles have somebody bodyguarding them.
Yeah, and very passive out of the T side. Now Reaser does get one. Smoke's come in for mid. Goku ready to take that one. Prime here for the trade for Goku, but it doesn't seem like he needs it. Tadpole swinging out of Con, and it's just Gekis and Obvious taking this A side, the B side, and yeah, that has just dismantled TLR.
Yep. There's not really too much more to find. I guess if we were to highlight something... Okay, well, no. Well, if that's not a metaphor for life, I don't know what is. But 8-11, I told you, it's looking better here.
I was doubtful. I'm going to admit that.
I called this. Can I just say, I called this at 10-2. I'm really hoping this comes to pass because...
Oh, it would be... I think the upset of Epic Land today, I don't think there's been any massive comebacks. We've seen a lot of one-sided games.
I've heard that. I have heard it has been a day of sort of decisiveness, if anything.
Completely. TLR, however, hoping to retain this lead. Maybe even win on the pistols here. They have chosen the right side. Not very reinforced at the CT side, and they're going to have to give it away. Fraser, ready for that.
Oh, through the
smoke! Oh my
Bro, goodness. That one hurts. If you're Riser, you're tilting a little bit at that one. And it wasn't even spray, it was just bam.
Decisive,
death.
Straight through the smoke, no chance.
11-9 now.
I don't know how this has begun, and I don't know how this is going to end. Is it going to be with TLR in Tears.
I hope not. That would put a whole new meaning to what the T and TLR stands for.
Yeah. Tears.
Losing, raging. I mean, if you go from 10-2 to losing the series, and I'm not being funny, there's a very real chance this still ends in regulation. I don't think it... well, actually, I'm not going to make any further predictions. I think I've accidentally jinxed this enough. But like TLR are going to be having words with me later about what a caster curse is. They're going to sit me down and be like, right.
I think if anything has displayed what a caster curse is, you at 10-2 has...
Maybe I'm just a prophet. Maybe I'm just psychic. I'm going to need psychic abilities to be able to bring this one back. TLR, the read's looking a little bit worse for wear. Amazing flash from Ryza. Gives 360 the path in that he needs. Obvious with one of their own, and suddenly a round that looks good. Frazier will find one with the HE, but again, too little too late, it feels like. They're rushing on in. There's a pincer for this site, but both of these prongs looking pretty weak. This is a plastic fork of an approach, if ever I've seen one. And there it is, the backstab maybe coming on through. Obvious gets one, Prime left to do it all. Has a full pelt of utility, but actually might just want to kind of back away here. Has a kit, but does not have the time to even get onto site. And that is going to be map, technically series point as well for TLR.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect showcase of adapting to this aggressive playstyle that 8sins have been showing, leaving nobody on the A side to defend that. It was just a complete red carpet for the whole T side to come through, and from there it's simple. Just play the post plant, take the fights. Very aggressive plays, I think, out of Gekios at one point, pushing through a jungle smoke to take one down. 8sins completely unprepared for that, and it looks like they're taking their final timeout to potentially push this to overtime. But
I mean, you gotta use it. You have them there, and you save them for a rainy day, but it's drought season, you know? If you don't use them, they sit there stagnating. You get more in overtime, so... Is overtime in the best of ones, or does it technically count as a draw? I'm not...
It's a single overtime, and if it's 15-15, that's a draw.
That's a draw.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You could tell I wasn't ready for this. I apologise to you.
Really thrown in the deep end here.
They were like, can you cast now? And I was like, why not? It's a good game. Beautiful game, actually. And I'm glad that it's been more competitive. But it felt very seesaw. It's been very one team then the other. There's not been too many patches of actual giving each other a run for their money.
Do you think this is where TLR takes it with the momentum of last round?
Difficult to call. They've wasted a lot of time, 8sins. They've managed to whittle it down fairly far. But I think all going to depend on this opening fight, and I think Prime is going to need to be an absolute bastion here. Flash goes on over.
He's burning, but brilliant. Molly forced him out into the open. Licks his wounds on 14 health there, all Molotov damage. And TLR have complete mid-control with 45 seconds left. It looks like they're going for the A split here. Fraser was in a great position towards Ticket with the AWP, but look at this double under Balk setup. Are they going to expect this?
I don't know, but a single well-placed Molotov would spell trouble. Or alternatively, Godku running in with two. And there's a missed shot from Frazier. It's all falling apart. Molotov Frazier going to be burning alive, forced into a fight, loses his life. And now one player left, Josh there. What on earth can you do here? 1 versus 5, and they know where you're not, so they know where you are. And here comes the hunt, the double swing. Tries to get the adjust, but obvious is there. And that is game, set, match. TLR take the victory. But it's a lot closer of a game there than initially anticipated.
Oh my goodness. I had to take my headset off at the end there to hear Godku scream across the arena. He has got an absolute shriek, as we mentioned before, and I bet he's absolutely thrilled with that. 8sins and TLR, two of the heavyweights coming into this game, and TLR showing that whilst it did become competitive, I was getting worried at 10-2 that the caster cast can't cast a curse, can't work every time.
That's probably a good thing, actually. Yeah. I've got to see some of these people whilst walking around. But yeah, definitely a lot more of a competitive game there. TLR, what a side to start on. Like, almost immaculate CT side, and that makes it very difficult regardless of how good you are, because 8 sins, if it had been a more even scoreline coming into that half, that absolutely could have been overtime, that absolutely could have been a win for them, but they spent all of that half clawing back as opposed to trying to find momentum to take the lead. It's a difficult one, but it was really well played. I wouldn't say, you know, that second half was bad by any metric. They actually really showed up. And of course, best of ones, we talk a lot about this, is that best of ones are temperamental and they are volatile. You lose the first quarter, that sets up TLR for an absolute slaughter. And, you know, in a best of 3, you have time to adjust and go forward as well. It feels like there's a lot less pressure on that first map. But alas, I think we'll see both of these teams competing again in, you know, later stages of the tournament.
100%. These are two, as I said, the best teams coming into this. A couple of international heavyweights as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, can't rule them out. I think I've seen Amanek in the arena as well. So definitely some legacy Pro CS names in there. I know, so definitely a lot to contend with, but I'm sure TLR are happy with this result. And can I just say, Reza on the AWP. Oh my goodness.
It is criminal that I didn't sing enough praise coming into this. Take this as my formal apology. I hereby declare that I was a little bit of a moron in not mentioning this at the start. But I mean, what a statement game there. 360. I mean,
yeah, but how could you not bring up 360?
We did highlight 360 because it's just so you can rely on 4 things. Is it like life, death, taxes, and 360
fragging out? Yep.
But yeah, on the flip side as well, I think Frazier, not a bad game at all. Prime had some really highlight moments. So, and if you look at the disparity in the kills, it's just because TLR is a little bit top heavier with Riser and 360. But I think that's about it from us. I don't know, when are you next casting?
Well, that'll be in about 10 minutes, 3 minutes on the A stream. Should have quite a good game on our hands. Can't remember it off the top of my head, but I know. Oh, it's the Italian team versus the Danish team. Law the Heroes team versus the Danes that have flown down here just for Epic Land. It's going to be international game on the A stream.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to let you go get ready. I'm going to let the wonderful people watching go and have a little bit of a break as well. Thank you so much for joining us for another match here at EPIC46 with Intel. I have been Affinity.
I've been Bob.
It has been a pleasure, and we will see you guys really soon.